So, guys, first of all, thank you for everyone for joining for the session. So, myself, Rashmi. So, I'll be taking this Gen AI and Agentic AI sessions. So, currently, I'm working as Gen AI and Cloud Architect. So, I have overall 5+ years in this IT experience. So, I'll give complete overview of how our course goes, like end to end. Okay. So everyone are talking about generative AI, AI. So all these things we are hearing, and day-to-day life we are not surviving without AI, right? So every day, before we AI era, before AI era, we were all yeah, like using Google. So we were searching, we were using our brains, but now like AI has been evolved. Okay. So when now we are talking about generative AI, but how all these have been started, how this like completely how the era has been started. So I we just want to know that. Then let's come to the generative AI. Okay. So first of all, like evolution have been started in 1950s. So evolution started in 1950s till 1980s. Okay. So like they used to use something called rules engine. Okay, so I'll just explain, like I'm just giving like over how it all started, like how the generative AI now we every day we are talking about generative AI. How this started first we'll get to. Okay, so we had something like first evolved in 1950, that is something called rules engine. Okay, so there was something like problematic statement. Okay, so people started facing like a lot of problems and people started shifting towards the machine learning. Okay, so machine learning evolved in the year 1990s to 2010. So here again engineers found some problematic statements even in machine learning. Then engineers started shifting towards deep learning. Okay, again in deep learning things were going fine. Later people started feeling like there is something we need better. Okay, things they like engineers wanted something more better, so they started shifting towards something called LLMs. So LLMs and generative AI. So it has been evolved very fast. Okay, LLMs and generative AI. So now it is evolving so fast. Things have been completely changing. Okay. So how why like what was the how rules engines were working? Let's see. Then how it got shifted to machine learning. Let's have a look. Then how it got shifted to deep learning. Let's have a look. Then it moved towards LLMs. Then finally towards Gen AI. So LLMs, Gen AI has been evolved, right? So talking about this rules engine. So what is this actually? What is this rules engine? So coming to this rules engine. So when talking about this rules engine. So what is this rules engine? So rules engine is something like engineers engineers manually they have to predefine the rules. Okay, rules. The word rules means we have to follow the rule. Like something it's like a statement. We need to accept it. That is compulsory. So that is something like rules. So rules engine means like first like initial phase the rules engine when it came to place. So we had to it had some rules means it is like predefined. Predefined means like already there was a condition, so there will be a condition. Talking about rules engine. So why, like from why, like what was the how rules engine was actually working? So how this rules engine actually working? See, like I have taken one example here. See, talking about rules engine, like just think like engineer had to train. Okay, say example, if something message is something like free money. Okay, something if email example, I have taken one email. Okay, one enterprise example which I have considered as email. See, if a email is containing something like a free money. Okay, so free money, so it will check the rules engine will check the rule. Okay, this is something is containing like a free money, so consider this as spam. So you guys might have observed in our emails we have spam, right? We have a normal like messages spam list. If you go to spam, there will be lot of spam. How they spams, like how they are putting into the spam list, because they have been trained, the machine, now the recent machines have been well trained. Okay, but earlier when the before AI, the starting era, I'm talking about 1980s, what engineer used to do? See, like we have an engineer, what this engineer does is, so what engineer does is he is going to train. See, manually he is going to train. Manual andre, so he is like telling the rule. See, if it is a free money, he's training. Manually he has to type. Manually he has to feed. Okay. So if it is a free money, it is, you just add this into like spam list. Add this into spam list. Okay. If the message is containing something like meeting or meeting scheduled with the cloud architect, something like that, so that it is going to consider as, it will not consider into the spam list, it will consider as something it is valid. Okay, this message is valid. Okay, this is not, it will not get considered to the spam list. Okay, again the engineer keeps on training, like something message with lottery. Okay, if the message he will train, okay, the rule lottery, it has to be in the spam list. Okay, something like a message, something like unknown sender, unknown sender. So even this is going to be under the spam list. Okay, so this how manually in the concept of this rules engine, manually the engineer had to feed each and everything like this. See, if email is containing free money, if it is checking rule, okay, free money means this is something related to spam. Okay, it will consider, okay, free money means this message will go under spam. Okay, again, it has a message like, okay, meeting reminder. So with the architect, like we have something review call. Okay, then the like engineer have been trained this message. So this message will come under valid one. Okay, again, if something contains like, if subject contains like congratulations. Okay, congratulations means again the engineer have been trained. Okay, this suits under something like suspicious, something which is not valid. So this is coming under spam list. Okay, again, if the sender is not known, again they'll be adding into the spam list. Okay, this how, like in rules engine, manually they had to train lot of things. Okay, if something like lottery, like this, they had to put the conditions, rules, and they had to train each and every rule. They had to train. Engineers had to train. So later, what happened is like hackers got an idea. Like they got a what can I tell? Like, so these are the written rules, right? So they can break this. Like hackers can break this. Like see example, spammer who is writing a mail, what he can do, okay, they got to know if it is a free money. So they have okay, engineer have been trained with something like free money, right? So the spammer, what he used to do, he used to change this to something like free money, something like this he was changing. Then this will not, then this rules engine will consider this is not a spam, it will consider this is a valid message, it will consider as it is valid. Okay. So it's something like we have lottery. So if it is lottery, we have like engineer have trained, if it is message with lottery, it send this to a spam list. But the spammer, he break the rule. Like he changed lottery to something like different. Like he changed like L something instead of O zero small t next E lottery like this they were changing. So this rules engine thought okay this is something like valid, so it was considering this one, okay, this is a valid one. So system was trying, it was failing. So now, engineer got to know this something like engineer have been has trained something with lottery. Lottery belongs to the spam list, but the spammer breaks the rules. He changed the lottery, whatever the lottery was there. He changed to like different spending. He changed the use cases. He changed. So this like rules engine thought, okay, this is a valid one, and it was allowing it. Okay, again, like this method, we had to train with new rules. So initially, we will train with 10 rules. Initially, we are going to train with 10 rules, later with 100. So, like this, it keeps on increasing. The rule number keeps on increasing. Okay, so managing this large number of rules, right, it is going to become very much difficult. Okay, now hackers can easily bypass this. See, if we are just giving a free money, and you think like one more example, like I'll just take congratulations. Okay, we will take some example like congratulations, something like this. We will be adding this to the spam list. Okay, so now we are going to get one valid message like congratulations, your home loan has been approved, your education loan has been approved. So you are having something valid message, but still this rules engine thinks like okay, congratulations message is going to come under the spam list. Okay, it will consider spam, which is even valid. It is going to tell like this is not valid. So attackers can easily bypass whatever the message, they will get to know, okay, these are the things they have added in spam list. So they know how to bypass. In the rules engine, it was very difficult to add number of rules. Okay. So these were the difficulties being faced in the initial days in the 19 when first the first, it started rules engines. These were the difficulties we had to face. So this was giving like false positives were high. Okay. So this is the problem with the rules engine. So even if it is not spam, sometimes it entertains the spam. Okay. If not spam, sometimes it will block it. It will send it to a spammer list. So accuracy was very like only it was providing 65% of accuracy in the rules engine. Okay, so this is how the rules engine was there. So this was a problematic statement was like we need to add multiple rules. Okay. Second problematic statement was like spammer cannot he will get to know these are the things he used to bypass the rule. If it is a free money, he can change that. If it is congratulations, he will change that. So he has different ways to bypass the rules. So it is very difficult for engineers should add that rules again and again. They need to add the rules. Okay, so because of all these problems faced in the rules engine, so engineer thought like every time training it is very difficult, every time adding the rules is difficult. Okay, so they came up with a new idea, something called machine learning. They thought like, why don't machine learn? Okay, so why can't machine learn by itself? Okay, so coming to machine learning example, I'll tell them one example. Coming to the machine learning. Okay. In machine learning, like just take one analogy, like you just take one example, like one infant. Okay. We have one infant. Okay. We have an infant. So to this infant or this child, think like we are going to show like when he's a kid, he doesn't know, he can't distinguish which is cat, which is dog, who is his father, who is his mother, who is his brother, who is siblings, father, like they cannot identify exactly, right? So for this kid, we are going to train, like we tell them like this is your mom, like we each and every day we are training, like say call mom, call dad, we tell like call brother, we are training it, and we are telling this is dog, this is apple, this is cat. So we are training a child, right? So once we are telling to that infant, it is learning. Okay, once it has to come to this, like it comes to like some level, like it's going to school level. So it can tell that okay, this is my father, this is my brother, this is my uncle. It can identify the things. How? It is learning, right? We are training it, right? Same manner in this concept of machine learning. So in machine learning, like we are going to feed the machine, we are going to provide the machine with thousands of spam emails. We are going to give a valid emails. We are going to feed engineers, not we, like engineers are going to feed up to like they're going to feed thousands of valid emails, and they are going to feed thousands of spam emails. Okay. So when they are feeding, they are training it, machine learning is learning from the examples. Okay. See, in rules engine, engineer had to manually give the example instead of writing rules. In rules engine, engineers had to do manually. But in machine learning, instead of writing the rule, like writing a rule for free money, lottery, unknown sender, in the machine learning, like instead of writing manually, we are going to provide the data. Like we are going to provide the data, this data is valid. We are going to provide the data for spam, this is the it belongs to a spam emails. Okay, if an email is going to contain free money, so it is going to spam. Like we are going to provide, so machine is going to learn. Okay, it is going to learn like whatever we have been provided. So it is going to learn, like it is going to learn. Okay, it is going to predict. Okay, this is going to be, machine is learning. Okay, this is spam. Okay, this belongs to a valid, this is a unknown user. So This machine learning is going to learn from the history, whatever the history, historical data we have been provided, it is going to learn from that. Okay, how machine learning works is from historical data, it is going to learn and it is going to predict. Okay, see, I gave an analogy like for a child, if we show 100 cat pictures, so after seeing 100 cat pictures, it tells, okay, this is cat, right? You show 100 or 10 dog pictures to an infant, it will identify, okay, this is belonging to, this is something called a dog. Same manner, machine learning also, it's learning from the historical data. So we are going to provide a historical data. So it will find out, okay, this is belonging to, it is learning from the historical data. It can identify, okay, what is the thing. And machine learning can handle large amount of records also. Okay, but in rules engine, we had to add all the rules. Okay, so but we had rules engine. Okay, from rules engine we had a problem like manually we had to feed. So we, because of that problematic statement, we moved to the machine learning. What is a problem in machine learning now? So why did engineers thought of deep learning? Because in machine learning there was a problem like machines were not able to understand the images. Okay, so engineers has to tell manually about the features. Like humans must manually create a features. Like engineers should tell, example, we need to create one image. Okay, like we had to tell ear shape, tail length, eye, body size. We had to do it manually. So for machine learning, it was very difficult. It had a poor understanding of images. It was not able to understand the images. Okay, so it was feeling very difficult to understand the speech. Okay, so that was a problem. Like it was having like it couldn't understand the images. It couldn't understand the speech. So all these were the problematics with the machine learning. So, like researchers, like engineers thought, why should like if I want to predict like like if I want to see like a cat image, we had to tell manually. We had to feed each and everything to a machine. Okay, machine learning requires like what is eyes, ears, tail. We had to tell each and everything if I want to generate one cat image. So researchers thought like why should humans manually tell the computer like how the features look? Why can't the like system learn what are the features by itself? Okay, so then they thought of solution, something like deep learning came into the picture. Okay, so something like deep learning was introduced like to solve like whatever the machine learning had some limitations, right? Machine learnings were learning. Whatever we are feeding it was learning, but it was having good accuracy also, but still there was some problematic statements. It was not able to analyze the images, it was not able to analyze the speech, and performance was pure accuracy was we didn't had that much of accuracy. So they thought of switching towards deep learning. Okay, so from rules engine, they shifted to machine learning. In like there was a problematic statement, and machine learning also we faced some problematic statements, and we came to deep learning. So how this deep learning works? So deep learning, how deep learning works is like how our brains, neurons, like how our brain is functioning. Our brains are functioning based on like we have a neurons think like okay now I like we have a plan like we need to get up in the morning, we need to do afternoon, evening, so we know like we think our brain is thinking everything, right? Same manner engineers thought they have introduced to solve the problem of the machine learning limitations. Okay, so deep learning is using something called how our brain is using, like we like humans are having a brain. Same manner, engineers thought why don't machines should have a neuron like a brain? It should work like a brain. Okay, so coming to the machine learning, in machine learning, like example features, we had to do it manually. Like example, I want to like generate some image, so like we had to feed it manually, right? So coming to the deep learning is learning. It is learning the features automatically. In machine learning, I had to tell the features. If I want a dog image, I had to feed it manually about the features. But coming to the deep learning, it is learning the features automatically. Okay. In machine learning, it had very poor image recognition. It couldn't recognize the image. Okay. But when talking about deep learning is having excellent image recognition. It can recognize, it is using its brain, like it is having something like neural networks. It is using a neural network and it can recognize it excellent way. Okay. In machine learning, we had like a poor speech understanding, but deep learning is able to understand the speech in a excellent manner. Okay, so now rules engine, whatever we studied there, we had to feed the rules manually, right? But it was very difficult to feed each and every rule. We moved to the machine learning. So machine learning is learning from the historical data, but it was having some limitations like image recognition, speech recognition. It was not able to predict. So we had to manually feed the features, right? But coming to the deep learning, in deep learning, so computers are learning, like systems are learning everything, even features, they are learning automatically, like image recognition, it had a good voice recognition, speech recognition, and better language understanding. Example, I need to change the language. All these things, it was having a higher accuracy compared to the machine learning. Deep learning was having better. Okay, so that's the reason this deep learning is more advanced form of the machine learning, which is using a brain, like what I told is the neural networks, right? So it is using its brain and it is making better, like unlike machine learning, deep learning was better. But what was a problem here? What was a problematic statement is like, so they have something, one drawback. Deep learning is having one drawback called long short memory. Okay, see examples. We tell 15 lines of code to my model, it will remember only two lines only. It doesn't have capability to remember. Okay, it cannot remember the things. And this deep learning, basically, it requires a huge amount of data. See, example, they want to recognize one image. So we had to train this on 100 images were not enough. See, example, deep learning needs enormous data sets. We had to train like enormous of data set, but still the drawback was it had a short term memory. Okay, so this deep learning, so it is requiring huge amount. And one more drawback is it is able to predict. Okay, here it cannot understand the feature. Like we had to do it manually in machine learning. But talking about deep learning, in deep learning, it is able to like understand the features. So man, and there is no nothing like manual. It is automatically understand. But engineers thought, okay, it is giving a better thing, but it cannot generate. See, example, I want to like I ask a model, like I ask a machine, like, hi, can you tell about AWS? Hi, can you tell about DevOps? Something I'm asking like that. So deep learning cannot provide me like it cannot generate a new data. Example, I ask that like, can you provide me a code which is related to Python? It cannot help me with that. Okay, and deep learning we had to train with enormous of data, and it was becoming very expensive also. So engineers thought like, why can't we generate something like human like content? Okay, but see, deep learning is good. I'm not telling this is bad. See, deep learning was excellent. It was able to classify which is dog, which is cat. It was telling like which is a spam, which is not spam, which is fraud, which is genuine. It was everything was excellent. But engineers thought something like, why can't it generate like example human like some like we humans require we need like to generate one essay. So deep learning was struggling to generate one code or I want one story, something like that. So it cannot do that. Okay. So these are the so researchers thought like deep learning can recognize information very well, right? It can recognize, but it cannot create a new content. Humans want something like what manually humans are doing the work. So it had to do something like it has to generate something new things. Okay. But deep learning failed in that. Okay. So people, so like evolution got changed. So LLM came into the place. LLM got into the existence. So these days, everyone are using ChatGPT, Claude. They're using Gemini. They're using Grok. We are using all different kinds of like AI tools. But how all these are working, like nobody has that idea, right? So we have something like LLMs. Okay, LLMs are basically large language models. See now, we go to ChatGPT. We ask ChatGPT, "Hi, can you provide me like I need to travel from Bangalore to London? Can you give me the like you want a planner?" So it is going to give the plan. How I'm getting that plan? How we are going to get that plan is like something like LLM. So LLMs are being trained, large language models. So this is one model which is being trained. See, I can give one more best example. See, example, we have a ChatGPT. So you ask ChatGPT, what is the capital of India? Okay. We are asking ChatGPT, what is the capital of India? How the ChatGPT is responding? So you guys know like ChatGPT is you go to ChatGPT, you generate an image, you generate a lot of things. How all these are happening? So you generate a text like you're still a like college going students. You know you need to do some presentation. You need to write some essay. You go to ChatGPT, you ask it. It is just generating. Is ChatGPT directly generating us? No. So ChatGPT is using a model called LLM. ChatGPT is using a model called LLM. Okay. ChatGPTs are using a model called LLM. LLMs means large language models. What are these large language models? ChatGPT using. So how we humans are having a brain. So like we are having a brain, our brain is working. Like we just have a brain. Our brain is gives passing a signals to the neurons. So our hands, legs, our body is working based on the brain, whatever the brain is suggesting us to do it. Same manner, ChatGPT is working on a model called LLMs. Okay, LLM is like whatever you're using, like you're using Gemini, you're using ChatGPT, you're using Grok, you're using like whatever the AI applications we are using, each and every application uh, has something like it is having a brain. That brain we call as LLM. Okay, that brains we call it as LLMs. So what is this LLMs? So LLMs are something which have been trained on like a large amount of data. So these LLMs will be training on large amounts of data. Okay, they will be training like whatever. See, if LLM doesn't know, also it is hallucinating us. So you just go ask something like, what did Ramesh purchase yesterday? It will tell something. It will hallucinate. If doesn't know, also it is trying to hallucinate things, right? So without LLMs, chat GPTs don't work. Okay, so like this, whatever I'm telling is just like foundational things, basic things. Currently, I'm telling as it's just a demo session. Just try to understand. So LLMs are stateless. What is a stateless? So LLMs are stateless. Okay, what is the stateless? Stateless means LLMs doesn't remember. LLMs can't remember. Like example, see, I'll just have one small demo. LLMs have trained on massive amounts of data, but it doesn't know actually. It doesn't have a memory. Okay, it cannot remember things. I'll just show a simple example how this LLMs can't remember the things. Okay, so this is one demo, so don't worry how I'm doing it. So once actual start classes start, so we'll get to know how all these things works. Yeah, I have a key. Okay, so I'm going to import open APIs. Okay, so LLMs can't remember. See, LLMs have been trained on large amounts of data. Whatever we ask, it is going to give us. Okay, but it cannot remember the things. Okay, it will fail. So the best example I can show you guys here. See, I'm just going to import this keys. So already OpenAI is injected. So so how to generate the keys, all these things I'm going to show later. So the keys have been injected. So I'm just trying to import, and I'll just show the one example. So I'll just go to OpenAI doc. So Python. I'm going to install the OpenAI. Okay, it's getting installed. Next, I'm going to use this model. See, we have model GPT 5.5. I told we have a LLMs, LLMs have been trained on massive amounts of data, right? In models, we have a GPT 5.5, GPT 5.4. I'll just show you. We have a OpenAI models. See, we have a models. Okay, we have different models, 5.4, 5.5. So each and every model will start differing. Okay. So here I'm just taking this OpenAI. So I'm going to connect with basic with LLM with just a basic API request. What I'm using now. So let's see. Okay, this is installed. OpenAI has been installed. So here I'll just ask I will ask I'm planning I'm planning to go for Bangalore for visit. What is your opinion? What's your opinion on Bangalore? Give me in 1 minute. Okay. See, it's telling Bangalore is vibrant city with great weather, lively cafes, gardens, tech culture, nearly weekend getaways. Is definitely worth visiting. Okay. Now again, I'm going back. I will ask the LLM. So I'm going to ask, can you give me top hotels to stay? So, see what it's telling? Sure. What destination? Why? I told LLMs are stateless, right? I told LLMs are stateless. Stateless means it doesn't have a memory. It cannot remember things. It cannot remember the previous interactions. Okay. So that's the reason LLMs are stateless. See, I have told I'm planning to go to Bangalore to visit. So I'm asking hotel. The next conversation, it's not able to remember. Okay. And because of all these things, then engineer thought, okay, LLMs are only designed for, it is just designed for text and it doesn't have memory to remember. So people came up with generate engineers thought, okay, why don't we come up with something it is going to have a tools where it can remember the things and where it can generate not only text. See, in LLMs, can it is storing only text. It is feeded with billions of data. Okay, but LLMs are only text based. No image, no audio, no generation. It is hallucinating. It tells what you ask something, it will just hallucinate. Okay, so it is having a stateless behavior. So they thought can we build something like AI that can generate more than a text? So then we got into a picture, we got into existence, something called generative AI. Okay, so now generative AI has been evolved. Like it can create a new text, it can generate a new content like a text, image, audio, video, code. It is able to do. It can generate a new things, right? Before text generation, we have for image generation. Like text generation, we have ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok. For image generation, we have something like DAL-E, Midjourney. We have audio generation. We have video generation. We have code generation also. If you guys have been aware about GitHub Copilot, so we use for generating a code, right? So this how the generative AI has been evolved. Okay, so this how it works, and we'll be doing like lots of hands-on experience. We'll have a like hands-on exposures, all these things. So like I'll just tell the course content how where we have designed in Job Masters, how the course is being designed. So we have different modules. Okay, so we have module one, which is designed for artificial intelligence and generative AI. In this module, we are going to learn complete foundation. Okay, so whatever the foundational things we need, we are going to learn in this. Coming to the module two, we are going to learn about AWS Cloud, like which is required for Gen AI applications and for deployment. All these things I'll be showcasing you for. You'll have exposure even to the AWS Cloud as well, and with the various services. Okay, so coming to the module three, Python, which is important for GenAI engineering. So we'll be training even with the Python fundamentals and what are the application patterns required for programming foundation also you'll be getting in this course. And coming to the module four, we'll be training you like prompt engineering, like LLMs hallucinate. To avoid these hallucinations and all, how to overcome this hallucination. So prompt engineering, we are going to learn each and everything, how what are the prompt engineering techniques we are going to implement the prompt patterns. And coming to module 5, we are going to learn about a RAG is like complete, like from ingestion to retrieval to augmentation to generation. We are going to learn in module 5. So coming to the module 6, we are going to learn about agentic AI and LangChain. Okay, so in this agents, how the tools, about memory, everything we are going to learn here. So module 7 and 8, we are going to learn about GraphDB and LangGraph. Okay. And coming to module 9 and 10, we'll be learning about MCP. MCPs are very trending now in the market. And you'll be learning in AWS Bedrock also. Okay. So it is added advantage for you guys. Okay. And we will have some projects also, hands-on projects. So okay. So, so once we are done with this course, so you will be having confident to design the architectures to build applications. Okay. So you will be choosing like LLMs, RAGs, agents, graph. Okay. So you'll learn even deployment in a cloud. So you'll be learning about AWS. Okay. So all these things we are going to cover in this course. Okay. So many people might have uh, doubts like what can I what are the career paths like once I'm done with this course. Anyone have the idea what are the what careers you can pursue in this? You guys have gone through? Have you guys done any research? Okay. So what are the career paths like once you are done with this course? So you will be eligible for junior GenAI engineer. Okay. And for these skills required, like whatever the things we are covering here, Python, prompt engineering, RAG, LangChain, LangGraph. So all these things will be there. Okay. Next, you can become like AI application application developer. Okay. And you can become agentic AI developer. You can become AWS Bedrock engineer. You can become a RAG engineer. So all the things, whatever I'm telling, everything will be covered in the course. So you will be applicable for all these roles. Okay. So if you're a fresher, even if you're fresher, you can like if you're learning end-to-end deployment, not only learning things, even implementing. If you're learning a business, what are the problems, and you're solving the business problems, then even if you're fresher, you can have a package up to like 5 to 10 lakh per annum. Okay. If you switch to like 2 to 4 years of experience, you can get up to like 10 to 20 lakh LPA. Okay. Somebody is raising their hand. Okay. So this is how this course is designed. So anyone have any doubts so far? Whatever we have discussed. All clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.